So you obviously went into the offseason needing 3 new starters, the offensive line, and you filled that out. Like, was it your goal to get all of those guys like in the free agency period? And
yeah, I think a primary objective of the offseason was fortifying the offensive line. I think that was goal one, and feel good about what we were able to accomplish there, and a few of the other objectives leading into the offseason. So, but still a lot ahead.
How do you weigh, Joe, the age injury questions? Tyron and Morgan both 33. Morgan just had surgery. Tyron this time, in the previous few years. How do you kind of weigh that in those free agency decisions?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of discussions with medical staff, with our coaches, with our pro scouts, and we weigh all that in when we make a decision like that. And a lot of the contracts are structured in a way where, if the player's on the field and he's performing, he's going to be well compensated. So I think we've structured quite a few of these contracts in a way that it's highly beneficial for the player if they're performing at a high level.
What kind of impact does what you did in free agency have on your plans with the 10th pick? Is offensive tackle still on the table at 10, or since you signed a couple, does that eliminate that? Or?
Well, I think this is an unbelievable O-line class. It's an unbelievable class at quite a few positions. But I think where we're at now, we have great flexibility to go in any direction that we see is best for us moving forward. So I think it opens the door to a lot of possibilities at 10.
Joe, how was the Clowney visit? How did where did things stand with Jadeveon?
Jadeveon visit was outstanding. It was spent about an hour just talking with him in my office and getting to know him as a person, and it was a very productive visit, and just him being around the building, getting a chance to get to know him, and having brought in a few teammates that he played with last year that all think the world of him. So it was good to have him in.
Where do things stand with him?
There's no news to report on that. We've got a plan coming back, and if the opportunity presents itself, we're going to be ready. Not just on Jadeveon, but if any player that we feel can come in and help us, we're going to be ready to add to it.
Where do things stand with Zach, and what is your expectation there?
Yeah, there's been a lot of good discussions with his agent, and there's been some discussions with teams regarding a trade, but I've got no news to report. There's nothing close to being done on that front.
There was a report that you have received offers for Zach. Is that accurate?
I would say that there's been conversations, but nothing is close. Nothing is close to getting done.
Joe, could you give us just kind of your overview of what happened with Bryce Huff in terms of how hard you guys pushed to re-sign him, and ultimately your feelings about him getting away?
Yeah, I mean it's tough to lose a player like Bryce that came in as undrafted free agent. Had really blossomed into a really good career here, but again, it's part of the business, and you can't always keep every player. And I'm happy for Bryce. I think he's earned that contract, and I think he's gonna do great moving forward. But I think for us, we had discussions with Bryce and Patrick Collins, his agent, and it's an unfortunate part of the business when you lose a player like Bryce, but you can't keep everybody.
Can you envision a scenario where you would keep Zach on the team?
We're so early in this off-season process. I mean, there's a lot of meat left on the bone when it comes to even getting to training camp or OTAs. So, I haven't even given that much thought, but I feel like we've had some good conversations with him and his agent.
Wouldn't it be beneficial both for you guys and Zach to kind of get him to his new team sooner rather than later if the trade is the direction you go?
Yeah, I think the trick is to have it be beneficial for the team and the player, and I think that's what everybody's working towards. But ultimately, we're going to have to do what's right for the team.
Robert talked about not necessarily being done with quarterback. Just talk about what that might look like moving forward.
Yeah, excited to add a vet in Tyrod to the room, and just being around him, he brings a smile to everybody's face. So adding him to the room, again, like Richard's question on pick 10, the draft is going to present a lot of interesting possibilities at that position as well. So we're exploring that. We've got our coaches and scouts out on the road working out a bunch of different positions. So we'll talk about the draft process here shortly when it comes to that room too.
Would you be open, what you just said, would you be open to using the number 10 pick on a quarterback when you have Aaron?
Look, I'm not going to get into whether we're going to take a quarterback at 10 or not. I think I left the door open in terms of, we've got a lot of flexibility. If there's a player that we feel helps the Jets, we have the flexibility to do that. So we're thinking not only for this year but for future too. But ultimately, we want to do what's best for the 2024 Jets as well.
How do you manage that? Like, you want to do best for this year, but also the future as well.
A lot of discussions go into that. So a lot of discussions with Woody and Robert, and we just hash it out. And a lot of it comes to how we rank these players. We're not just ranking them for how they're going to perform in 2024. We're ranking them for really how they're going to perform during their rookie contract here and what's best for the team.
What jumped out to you guys with Mike Williams that made you want to sign him?
I mean, Mike's ball skills are second to none, I think. There was a pretty cool stat on the amount of drops that he's had over the last few years, which is very few to if any. But his ball skills, his catch radius, he's not just a big body. I mean, he can stretch the field. He can get behind defenders and make big plays vertically. So he brings a really nice dimension to this offense.
What does his presence do for Garrett? And do you feel good about that room right now, or do you feel like you still need work to do in that room?
I don't feel good about any room. I want to improve every room. Anytime I can do it. So, I think Mike is a great complement to what Garrett does in terms of both of their strengths. We know that Garrett can separate. We know he's an elite level route runner, and to have another receiver that's a big physical go up and, as Tyrod calls them, 80-20 balls, 50-50 balls become 80-20 balls with Mike. That adds different dimensions to the group.
Traditionally, you don't see tight ends go in the top 10. Not mentioning any names. Not that we don't know who it is, but what's your philosophical thought on taking a top 10 that high? I mean, a tight end that high.
I think you've seen tight ends go high in recent drafts. Again, we're still early in our process. There's still pro days going on. We're getting in with the coaches in the first couple of weeks of April, and we're gonna hammer out this draft board soon. So again, we're open to anyone that can come in here and make an immediate impact for the team.
Where's Mike Williams physically? Where's Mike at physically? Where he's coming back?
Yeah, Mike's rehabbing the knee injury. I know Robert talked about the timeline a little bit this morning. I would say that's accurate.
Pup list to probably start training camp kind of thing?
I would say he's not going to be ready for the start of training camp.
Okay.
But again, there's a lot of time, so we'll see how the rehab progresses. There's a lot of checkpoints to hit, but we do feel confident that he's going to be ready for the year.
How do you feel about the tight end room that you have?
I love our tight end room, actually. But again, like the question about wide receiver, if there's a chance to add even more dynamic players, we're going to look at it. But having a vet guy like Conk, he's a dude, he's a stud. I mean, he can get open. He's an excellent route runner, unbelievable hands. Big Rock's he's gonna jump on the scene even more this year. We all know how talented he is. Kenny Yeboah brings a physical dynamic at the point of attack. He can do a lot of things for us in the run game, and he's a really dynamic special teams player. And then a guy that we drafted in the 7th round, Zach Kuntz, he's a physical phenom. He's about 6'7". He runs like a gazelle. So he had a great year of development last year. So we feel like we have 4 guys in the room right now that are legit NFL tight ends.
Joe, what's your expectation for Aaron this spring and going forward? I mean, I know he was close last year. If things felt right, is he participating in everything, you think?
Yeah, I expect Aaron to be back for a portion of OTAs. I haven't had the conversation to see what that exact detail looks like, but I know Aaron's excited to be back and around the guys.
Did you ever follow up with the league on the McCall Hartman alleged tampering situation?
I'm not going to get any of those discussions. I mean, I'm not going to get into that right now, Rich.
Were you concerned you might lose Rodgers to the campaign trail there when those reports came out a few weeks ago?
I hope he feels like he has some candidates for Director of Homeland Security, Secretaries of Defense, now that we've fortified the O-line. But no, I mean, when all that was getting out there, I was focused on nothing but improving the team. So I didn't take him very
Did you have
seriously.
that one on your bingo card?
That was not on the bingo card. That was not on the
Joe,
Jets bingo card.
Simpson's a guy I think casual fans might not know that well. Could you just give us kind of a scouting report on him and what you liked about him?
Yeah, Big John, left guard for Baltimore last year. I mean, I love John's energy. When he puts somebody on the ground, when the team scores a touchdown, like he's the first guy celebrating, and he's just an explosive guy off the ball. You see him pull, you see him get out in space. When he unlocks his hip and launches into defenders, I mean, they go flying. And so, he's just a big, explosive guy that loves football. And so we're so happy to add him to the group.
So just talk about Javon Kinlaw and what he brings to your team.
Yeah, Javon's the same way. A big, athletic, explosive man that loves to play the game and plays with a high level of energy and passion. And again, another guy that he's a hugger, so that was a good hug to get. He's a giant of a man, and I can tell you he's got strong hands, from that hug. But he's ready to go. He's ready to go. He's excited to add to the fun.
How important was it for you guys to get CJ locked in for another year? I know there were some salary cap considerations there, but
Yeah.
he's so important to this team.
Yeah.
How much of a priority was that to figure something out?
CJ's the captain,
Yeah.
and he's a selfless leader. And when CJ speaks or when CJ, has actions, it means a lot. So for him to do what he did for the team, I mean, he's a special person. He's a special person. He's a special player, and so a lot of what we've been able to do so far in the off season is because of CJ, and I can't thank him enough.
Just going back to Bryce.
What do you mean by that? Real quick, just when the CJ Mosaic, what's he done this offseason? Or you mean in terms of taking?
Yeah, the restructuring
So
his
the
contract.
okay,
Yeah,
if you were,
yeah.
it was
There's nothing. Nothing.
left that open.
Yeah.
Stay out.
No, I just meant I didn't know if he was doing some recruiting.
Yeah.
Like sauce.
Well,
Andy.
Last one.
Actually,
Sauce the GM is doing a nice
Can I
job.
get the
real
last?
quick. I have one you won't like and then one you like.
Okay, all right.
With Bryce, I mean, a lot of fans, they say, why not get a deal done earlier with him? I'm sure it's not that simple, but why is it that simple?
Yeah, I mean, those are the good discussions moving forward. If there's an opportunity to get guys done early, I think we saw the benefit of that with a guy like Quinnen. Getting that deal done was important. So those are conversations and strategic conversations that we'll have moving forward for guys like Bryce and guys in the future.
And then with Mike, he obviously had visits set up after you guys, so the fact that he committed to you guys before going on those visits, what does that kind of say about where you're at and getting these veterans to buy into where you're at, building like a winning culture?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting when guys like John Simpson and I know Morgan was a trade, but when Morgan came in, to see the big smile on his face and see how excited he was to be back here, and Tyron Smith, who may be the greatest pass protector of all time, for him to want to be here and believe in what we're doing, and then Mike to come in and be so excited to team up with Garrett and be a part of this offense. It's definitely exciting. It's exciting when players of that caliber and stature are excited about joining the team.